Cyborg, Aquaman, The Flash. The recent additions to the Justice League may be new to the cinematic universe, but their history in the comics spans decades. Hey everybody, I'm Ray Fisher. Stepping into the shoes of these iconic superheroes was a challenging but incredibly exciting task for us all. But what was most thrilling was delving into the hearts of these characters. Their ideas, their psyches, their pasts, everything that shaped them up to the point we find them in the film. We had a blast injecting our personal spin on the roles as we came together and were officially inducted into the Justice League. Check this out. This is DC Comics Presents number 26, the very first introduction of the character Victor Stone, AKA Cyborg. Now here he is talking to his father in Star Labs. You screwed up this experiment. You should have left me the way I was. At least I'd be dead by now instead of trapped inside this mechanical body. Ever since the beginning, Victor Stone struggled with what he had become. Once an all-star college athlete with a genius-level intellect, he was now a walking, talking science experiment, an outcast who constantly referred to himself as a freak and a monster. But whether he liked it or not, Cyborg represented a new type of superhero, the perfect hybrid of man and machine. He was a character ahead of his time. Back in 1980, when he first stepped onto the scene, the internet wasn't even invented yet. But as technology in our world evolved, so did Cyborg's powers. Among these powers are flight, super strength, unlimited access to data, and an ever-evolving arsenal. Cyborg's ability to interface with any and all technology makes him one of DC's most relevant superheroes in this digital age, and an essential member of the Justice League. Portraying someone whose humanity is wrestling with the alien technology inside of him was an exciting challenge for me, even if that meant I had to wear pajamas all day on set. Check out more on that and what it was like to bring this compelling character to life.
Can't believe it, man. To see all these guys in costume ready to go. Got half a ping pong ball taped to my eye, but there are worse things that could happen to you. What I'm wearing, this is a performance capture suit. We got the dots here to capture all the joints and mobility and motion that Cyborg's gonna be having. Chest light here, so you can see the core of Cyborg glowing. And we've got the ping pong ball with the LED lights on it, that the shadows fall in appropriate places on other people.
The biggest challenge for me would probably be acting as if I am in this heavier gear. I look around and I see Batman in the bat suit, I see Wonder Woman in her gear, everybody's looking really cool. And I look down at me and I'm just in the pajamas. And I'm thinking, you know what? We'll get it in post. But it actually gives me a little bit more to work with. But that's also a situation that Cyborg is going through in the context of the story. He can't take off his costume. He can't live that normal life that everybody else can just take off the cowl and hang up the boot and just go off and be their alter ego. He can't do that. So I feel like it's a little bit of fuel for the fire, if that makes any sense.
That character's got a really interesting journey because he has to come to grips with whether or not he would rather be dead. Because is he actually alive? Is the human part of him still existing? To have an actor who actually can make you care about them, it's just a testament to how good an actor Ray is.
Physically, the training has been rigorous. About 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, put on about 20 pounds of muscle, or what I hope is muscle. What I hope is muscle. It feels good to have that discipline because Victor Stone, before he became Cyborg, was a college athlete.
Back in 1980, when George Perez and I created Cyborg, he was sort of an outlier. Now he's the vanguard. He is what we are becoming because as our natural parts fade, they're being replaced by tech. They're being replaced by computers inside of us. Jeff Johns, and he was writing the Justice League, and put him in there and took him to the next step and moved more into the current time period. He understood that this is a character who lives in the internet in a way that he could see what's happening all around the world.
You stepping off there?
Sorry. It's Bazarnov in northern Russia.
Cyborg is always online. His epic backdrop is the digital landscape, and the digital landscape is so important to us today. It's such a part of our world that our world would not function the same without it. And if you have mastery over that digital landscape, you have ultimate power. And what do you do with that power?
We're all cyborgs these days. You got a cell phone in your pocket, I've got a cell phone in my pocket. And you feel naked if you don't have it. We've come to a place where we're so dependent on technology, we feel alone. So Cyborg is the amalgamation of those ideas. He's essentially the gateway to where I believe we may or may not be headed in the future. With Cyborg, it'll be interesting to see just how his technology can either help or hurt the human race. The possibilities are endless.
Thanks, Alfred, but I'll take it from here.
Do I know you?
Most amazing of all the secrets of the sea is the story of Aquaman, who, like a water god of old, dwells in the dim, unknown depths of the ocean, leaping forth to do battle with the evils and injustices of the world we know. Now, that right there is from More Fun Comics number 73, the first ever appearance of Aquaman back in 1941, just 3 years after the debut of Superman. Now, as you see, Arthur Curry in the comics has a bit of a different look than our cinematic version. Over the course of 75 years, Aquaman has evolved from underrated and underestimated to one of the most beloved superheroes in the DC canon. And now, with Jason Momoa's badass version in Justice League, there's no doubt about it. Aquaman commands respect.
I'm Aquaman.
I was pretty excited. It's a bit of a dream come true. I've been a big surfer. I've never walked down a 60-foot pier with 12 water cannons going off. It's funny because the water knocked me everywhere, which you don't actually see. Tried to hold it together, but it was amazing. I felt like a rock star.
Jason, he embodies everything that Zach wanted to tell with that character. Sort of this anti-establishment, rock and roll attitude.
He's very much the outsider and the lone wolf. When Zach picked me for the role, he told me he was someone who not really accepted on land, not really accepted in the sea. It's something I can identify with. Being raised in Iowa, born in Hawaii, two very different cultures. You're kind of a fish out of water. You're a bit of an outcast and you're a little different. He's definitely flawed, and I enjoy playing the flawed characters.
He's kind of a big target when people are making fun of superheroes. And when I wrote the comic book in 2011, I wanted to tackle that head on because people question what Aquaman does. What's he bring to the party? On land, he's kind of a bit of a joke sometimes. In the water, he's the king. And I thought that contrast was very cool for a superhero.
Even though it's not in the movie, I spent a lot of time thinking about scenarios where he lived with his father and his dad. He guarded the lighthouse, and he was definitely a blue collar, but he was exceptional in certain ways. He obviously has the power, he can help people. It's his human side, you know. I think that's what makes him special because he can tie the two worlds together. It's a big concern for me when we see Justice League because people are gonna be like, oh, he's drinking, he's this, he's gruff, he's an asshole, he's this outcast. But I'm like, you don't know what he's been through. And that's what I want them to know is like, what got this guy to go to the far reaches of the earth, to stay away from everyone, to be the way he is? What got him there?
You got no powers, no offense. This guy might be working for the enemy, we don't know. I don't want to die. I'm young.
He's a little rough around the edges, and then he becomes a good guy. He'll always help fight with the team, but then he's on his own. So he's the reluctant hero, and that's fun to play.
Ride ain't over yet. My man.
This is the startling tale of the Flash, a man who was so fast that he not only outraced his own shadow, but also broke through the sound barrier on foot. Hold on to your seats as you read Mystery of the Human Thunderbolt. Now that's from the 1956 introduction of The Flash from Showcase number 4. Along with the debut of Barry Allen's Heroics, the Showcase series kickstarted the Silver Age of comics. And for decades, DC writers and artists have had tons of fun exploring everything this fascinating character has to offer. And not only is he the fastest man alive, his unique superpowers have launched storylines dealing with time travel, alternate dimensions, and even something called quantum tunneling. And this means the Flash can even walk through walls. Ezra Miller's depiction of the Flash remains true to who Barry Allen is. Good-natured, upbeat, with a brain that moves a mile a minute.
It's someone who can run into our ideas about physics, about how the world works. It's a character very much inspired by physics and by the works of Nikola Tesla that's made the Flash such an interesting character for all of its history. He's a scientist who studies these ideas. He steps beyond our usual parameters of perception.
Barry Allen, for me, he always felt like he was us because he was a normal guy. He was trying to do his best and a little awkward, and he got hit by a bolt of lightning by accident, developed these powers, and is trying to do the best he can with them.
So for him, he's trying to use it for good. He has a really good heart. In a certain way, it's almost like he has humility, which is sort of rare on a superhero. Jeff Johns and I talked about this one issue of The Flash. He saves a group of people as a building is falling. But then they're all standing out on the street and they're like, we don't have anywhere to live. And he's like, 1 second. And he builds their home back, you know what I mean? Because he can study architecture really quick. That moment is so representative of the type of hero that he is. You know, this altruistic figure and someone who has an open heart. I've been interested in to inform the physicality of this person who's moving in a way that we don't understand. How does he get going? Or when he's slowing down his molecules, what does that mean for his breath? And then how does he stop? Maybe when he's coming to a stop, it's like a... And when he's in motion, when we kind of come into his perception, Flash time, fascinating the idea that like your mind quickens, which means your perception slows to meet the speed at which you're going. The time that no one would ever see. Like, what does that look like? This massive current running through him. It's the funnest thing in the world. I'm talking about it like it's serious. I'm a crazy person. And they say, yes, you can pretend to be a superhero. Wait, why am I? I'm blowing my cover right now. This is a terrible idea. That's rude.
Well, that's it. The League is united. Each of these 3 new characters plays an integral role on the team, and with over 180 combined years of comic issues and storylines, it's clear that there are infinite possibilities where Cyborg, Aquaman, The Flash, and the entire Justice League can go. I can't wait.